Yo, what is up, DigiDestin? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be diving into my early meta predictions for BT12's Digimon format. Please ignore my disgustingly packed up background there. We are actually moving. The time of this recording, I'm moving in like 48 hours. The time you guys see this, I may have already moved. I may be closer to moving. But this is actually my second take of this because my audio levels were all messed up after a OBS update. So while you're watching this, if the audio cuts out or gets really low at some point, I'm super sorry for that. But I don't really have time to re-record right now. That being said, I hope the audio levels and whatnot are better for this intro and the outro. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let's hop right into this early meta prediction. Okay guys, so these are the tiers we have. We have tier 1, which are going to be the best decks of the format. Tier 1.5, which are going to be the Gatekeepers and potential top decks, but they're going to be gatekeeping these tier 2 decks. Tier 2 is going to be where the majority of the decks are going to fall. They're going to be not quite good enough to be the best decks in the game, but not bad enough to be tier 3, and they definitely have potential and are considered the rogue picks. Tier 3 are going to be things that are like locals, like for fun levels, just with friends, and then not real are decks that I wouldn't even pick up just for a fun level. Starting off is going to be our first not real deck. This is Xmon, aka Sea Animals. This deck is not real, guys. I'm sorry. Even in Ultimate Cup format where like it's monocolored, this deck is not real. There's 1,000 other blue decks I would touch before I touched Xmon. I have Xmon built. It's not a good deck at all. I really don't recommend any of you guys to pick it up. It's cute. Maybe pick up the SRs because they're a few cents. So like if you want to play it in the future, you'll have it. But don't play this deck. Alphamon we really haven't seen since the Dora Greymon ban, so it's not really relevant anymore. In set 13 we might see a resurgence with the new Alphamon support, but until then we'll have to wait. Armor, Armor's weird because Armor's like a relatively decent mechanic itself, but in this format specifically I don't know how strong it'll be. Magnamon X is a very good card, and like that in its own right might carry the deck up to like here. For now I'm gonna put it here. It might move back up to here though, because like depending on how strong this card could be into the format. So this one's weird, Digimon, but there's also Quartzmon on here. Yeah, there's Quartzmon on here as well, but also Bloom. So I'm gonna say pure Arrestor. I'm gonna say this is like pure Arrestor, and then Quartzmon is like Hunter good stuff. So like pure Hunter with like no quartz. We're just gonna group them together. This is gonna get confusing otherwise. This is tier 1 deck. Where's Quartzmon? Yeah, so Quartzmon Hunter is like a tier 1 deck. That's so strong. It's actually ridiculous. Quartzmon is a super strong floodgate that's going to inhibit a lot of the format. And the Hunter deck can actually warp Digivolve from 5 into this level 7 for a cost of 6? These are 6 or 3. I believe it's 6 though. And then it has a lot of pressure with the rest of Digimon. And then it has the same sort of power that Crossheart has where it can save. So it's very annoying to remove these cards. Darkness Boggermon. Bogger Army is not very good, guys. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Like that's like the other cross deck. Like it's not even worth mentioning. So for that reason, like is Dark Knightmon on here? Yeah, it is. So Boggermon is like tier 3. Like it's a fun deck. I have this built for like locals and teaching new players because new players really like the playstyle of Boggermon, but it's not a good deck. Beelzemon, tier 1. If you guys thought Crimson mode was annoying, Beelzemon ex ante is that doesn't rely on your opponent, it relies on yourself, so you can set it up yourself, which makes it infinitesimally better. So yeah, get ready for Beelzemon on turn 2 to set you to 0 security. There's very few ways to beat this deck. Hunter is one of the ways. D-Reaper, funny enough, is actually another one of the ways, but I don't see Reaper on here. So Reaper, I would put in like 1.5 though. So yeah, get ready for Beelzemon format. Blackwater Greymon's so odd because I very much thought this deck would be dead after Greymon X, but I also very much underestimate Blackwood Greymon players because they will not let this deck die. It's still topping. It's still like getting random top. Like usually one will get into every single top cut I've seen. And I really think it's just how powerful this card is, and like the toolbox that Blackboard Greymon has is so powerful that like, as long as this top end is legal, this will always be a 1.5 deck in my opinion, because they're always gonna make Greymon support to support the low end, and as long as this top end stays like not very power crap, it gatekeeps a lot of decks from being good just by existing. Blue Flare. So Blue Flare, the only new card he gets is X7 Superior Mode. And like that's enough to justify it being stronger. However, we're not going to see Blue Flare be like a really dominant meta deck until EX4. EX4, we get a lot of very strong Blue Flare support. So for now, I'm going to put it in 1.5. It could very easily take tops, but I don't think it has a very good matchup into these top decks here. And for that reason, I'm going to put it in 1.5. Magna Garurumon's like tier 3. Like Blue Hybrid's not real. Actually, is this deck as unreal as Aegis Dramon? Here's the thing. Funny story. I actually lost to Blue Hybrid at the Team Wars event that Max and Josh and I got second or third in. I can't remember, at Nationals. But I was on Crossheart, and Blue Hybrid's the worst matchup for it because it strips all your sources and you can't save anything. So like, I guess, but also like tier 3. I mean, like, not real. This deck, without Tommy, this deck does not do anything. But I am going to put it into tier 3 because it actually has a really silly matchup into, like, Cross. And, like, some of these, like, Cross specifically, I guess. I was going to say some of these, but, like, Cross and, I guess, Blue Flare has, like, a goofy, silly matchup into. So, like, I'll put it in tier 3. Machine Dramon. This one's odd. Machine Dramon feels like it's gotten support every single set lately. And it's never that good. And I don't know, well, I know why. The deck's not consistent. You have to play a lot of like top end, and it's really clunky outside of like monocolored Ultimate Cup formats. I'm gonna put it in like, part of me tells me to put it in 1.5. Because everything that Blackboard Greymon has going for it, Machine Dramon has as well, with like redirection and destruction. But like it doesn't do it as good. So tier 2 actually. I was gonna put it in 1.5, but I talked myself out of it. D Brigade. I don't know, guys. D Brigade's like, sometimes it feels like it's up here, and then sometimes it feels like it's down here. So I don't really know. I'm gonna just throw it in the middle. Tier 2. Probably like this. When the deck goes off, it goes off. Again, in mono-colored format, D Brigade goes a little bit harder. Dark Nightmon. So Darkness Bogremon in this deck's actually not bad. Again, EX4, this deck becomes significantly better. But if Beelzemon is the best deck in the format, which I think it is, Dark Nightmon, funny enough, almost cannot lose to Beelzemon. Almost cannot lose to Beelzemon. Like, it's like 90% in Dark Nightmon's favor, which is so odd. But you lose to everything else. Like, this deck cannot win a game against anything that's not Beelzemon to save its life. But because it has such a good win rate into Beelzemon, I kind of want to put it in 1.5. It depends. I really do think Beelzemon's the deck of the best deck. Because it has a few things going for it. One is going to be representation. The advanced deck gives you almost every single card you need to play Beelzemon at peak. The only card it does not give you is EX Beelzemon and the new stuff from set 12, which is Beelzemon X, Wizardmon X, and Impmon X. If you want to play old Iron Mako, it does not give you that, but you only need one of that, really. So just based on that, like the population of Beelzemon players is going to be really high, right? Unless for some reason this SR is really expensive, which I don't think it will be. The best one, by far the best SR out of BT11 was Blackboard Greymon, and I think it peaked at like $7 or $8 or something like that. So Beelzemon will not go above $8, $9. That being said, I don't want to put it in 1.5 because I don't want people to think that this deck can do anything in the meta. I'm still talking about Dark Nightmon. We're putting it in 1.5 just because I think Beelzemon will be by far the most popular deck of the format. So I'm going to put Dark Nightmon in 1.5 just because it almost always can beat Beelzemon. Gallantmon is so bizarre. I love Gallantmon. He's like my top 2 favorite Digimons between him and Shoutmon, and it flip-flops, right? But But Gallimon always get, like, same as Machine Dramon, it always gets support, and the support never makes this deck broken. It's so odd. The best we ever ate was EX2. Like, when Crimson Mode came out, like, that card was very busted for like a week. And so we ate good when that happened. But now, like, the Gallimon support never works with each other. It's so crazy. Like, Takado, the new Takado is so strong. And the new War Growlmon and Guilmon, I think, are also all pretty strong. But Gallimon itself does not seem strong at all. It has Raid, and you can obviously give it Blitz with Takado. And you can, like, blow things up. So you would think having Raid, Blitz, and being able to kill things, like, it should, like, that is a lot. And then the new Takado also gives Warp. Like, you can warp into a Gallimon, which is crazy. But it's still not that good. Like, it's still, like, okay. I don't even think it's 1.5. I think it's, like, tier 2. Like, what are you raiding into, right? Like, you get a raid into Beelzemon? Cool. Beelzemon plus Beelzemon X already ripped your entire security. You're gonna raid into my Quartzmon or Arrest Surgemon? Cool. Save. My Black War Greymon? Okay. Sure, I guess. Blue Flare? Okay, save. Dark Nightmon? I lose to you anyways because you're not Beelzemon. I don't know, maybe it's 1.5. Nah, bro, this deck's trash. This deck's garbage. Like, it's I want it to be good so bad. This deck's not good, though. But it's, like, still tier 2 because it has so much going for it. But it never gets what it needs. I will say this Raid Gallimon becomes quite strong with the Royal Knight cards that are coming out. You play, like, 1 to 2 of this because it's a very good out to, like, some of the cards they play to beat Royal Knights. And who knows, maybe Gallimon will become good with set 13, because in set 13 we also get a Rush Gallimon. So again, more cards that do things that we're not going to use. Xmon's odd. Xmon always feels like right here to me. Xmon and, like, Black War Greymon are like gatekeepers. Okay, this is going right here. This doesn't look right. So Black War Greymon and Xmon are gatekeepers. If you don't have positive matchups into either of these decks, you will never be above tier 2. Because these decks just gatekeep so hard. Xmon now with mulligans being, like, a main part of the game is so good. Like, if you played my build before, it was already very consistent. But now you can... So, a lot of people ask me why I didn't... Sort of a side tangent. A lot of people ask me why I didn't play Kaiser Nail in my build for Nationals that I won the LCQ with. And it was simple. I didn't ever want to draw Kaiser Nail because it made the deck less consistent. I always wanted to see my pieces before anything else. But now with mulligans, you can get a little greedy, and honestly, I would advocate for, like, 2 Kaiser Nails in the deck just because you can get hella greedy with the deck now. And when you can be greedy with a deck like Xmon and it'll just almost always pay off, like, that's not something you want because it's going to gatekeep you even harder. So now imagine, right? I have Xmon with Slayer as sources and double Break Dramon on board. Like, you cannot break that board. Like, good luck. So yeah, if you don't have a good matchup in the Black War Grey or Xmon, you probably will never be above tier 2. Speaking of good matchups into those deck, Grandis. Grandis, to me, again, it beats these Gatekeeper decks. It doesn't beat Xmon, but, like, it's pretty good. It can't beat Xmon. It has no way of beating Xmon. But it absolutely dumpsters on Black War. And Grandis is a deck that if they see their pieces, they just win on, like, turn 2, you know? Very similar to Beelzemon. With mulligans help this deck a lot as well. So, Grandis 1.5. Also, surprisingly, didn't get touched on the list. Okay, hot take. If you guys know me, you know I love hot takes. Hot take, hot take, hot take. Bloomlord's tier 1. Bloomlord's tier 1. Mulligans make this deck so strong. We saw in the Ultimate Cups, this was, like, the #1 most represented deck because of how powerful it is. But now we get Quartzmon. Before, the problem with Bloomlord was, outside of Hydramon, your Bloomlord, after it did its big thing, didn't really do much after that. But now with Quartzmon, if you can't kill them on your Bloomlord turn, you just digi into a Quartzmon, pass. Like, it's so good. Especially in this deck. And then, if you have HPD, and you digi into a Quartzmon, that is ridiculous. That is so much value in this deck. So, just because of how quickly this deck can go super wide, I'm going to say that this deck is tier 1 It is very good, just with Quartzmon existing. That's my hot take for this though. Imperial Dramon. So the problem with this Imperial Dramon is the new DNAs don't really do anything for the deck. I honestly think you probably just play like the old Pyil Dramon. You probably just play the old Pyil Dramon and the new Dino Beamon for your DNAs. Because the new DNAs don't really, like, they're not really aggressive. They're like strip removal, like source removal. Like, it's okay. I would have put this deck down here. I mean, like, down here. I was talking to Dan Vang about it, the Imperial Dramon guy. We were sitting in a Discord call the other day. I said, so what do you think about new Imperial? And, like, we both agreed that Xmon, like, really strong. But, like, under the right pilot and the right build, like, it's probably, like, tier 2. Like, somewhere in the middle of it. Like, it's just Imperial Dramon before, where if you high roll someone and you just smack them. But now, if you guys are familiar with One Piece, the new fighter mode is basically just, like, the old fighter mode was, like, this weird extender where you could go wider, or the old dragon mode. The new fighter mode, though, is, like, a 7-drop kid from One Piece. And it's very good and very, very annoying. So, like, it's okay. If you can't kill them, you can go into the new fighter mode and it feels pretty strong. Xmon. Xmon's odd, because with a bad pilot, it's probably like here. Like, not really, you can't play this deck. If you're a good pilot, it's like up here. So, I don't know. It has a good matchup into the Gatekeepers. I'm gonna put it in 1.5. I don't know how valid this actually is. This is the one that I really don't know. Because, like, it's very pilot dependent. The skill gap with Xmon is very high. So I'm going to put it in 1.5 because I feel like under the right pilots, it sort of peaks at 1.5 in this format at least. Leomon Rush is not real. This deck's not real, guys. I'm sorry to tell you. If you're playing Leomon Rush, you might as well just be playing it in All Force. Setcon? The problem is Beelzemon, right? Because Beelzemon's gonna trash like 3 security almost every single time. And you don't want that as a Setcon player. And if we look at like the top decks here, really what does Setcon beat? Like Bloomlord? I guess. It doesn't beat Hunter, because Hunter is just gonna save. Doesn't beat Blue Flare, because it's gonna save. Grandis? Maybe? Maybe on a good day? I don't know. Xmon? Probably not. Xmon? Probably. Black War? Probably not. But because this deck is so popular and it always seems to get at least like one top, I'm gonna put it in 1.5. I don't really feel ever comfortable putting it in tier 2 because whenever I have in the past, it always just proves wrong. Like, it always still tops. And just because I think this deck is super resilient, I think it's just gonna top sometime. It's like randomly here. Masthaemon is basically the same deck as Setcon. I don't know about its matchups because I really haven't tested Masthaemon this format. I've heard it's okay. I've heard people talking about it. Like with Mulligans, it's a lot stronger, but again, set 12, it might be too slow. I'm gonna put it in tier 2. I don't really believe in the Masthaemon this format. Set 11, I think it's really hot with Mulligans, but I don't know about set 12. Mervamon / Mervamon Loop. This is the new Mervamon. I don't think Loop's gonna play this one, but this is sort of the Xmon situation, right? Like a bad pilot, it's probably not real, but like in a good pilot, it's probably pretty good. Loop's hard. Cause like it could be up here too, the more I think about it, but it's also another deck that does not appreciate Quartzmon. I think it actually has a pretty 50-50 matchup with Beelzemon. And like a decent matchup in a Bloomlord probably, but like Quartzmon there too. And I know it's pretty decent into the 1.5, so yeah, I'm gonna put it right here in 1.5. Melga, low-key Melga falls off hard. Every deck here kind of dumpsters on Melga. Right? Because like these tier 1 decks are just too fast for Melga. These 1.5 decks just don't care about Melga. I don't want to put it in 2 though. That feels really low. I'm gonna put it in 1.5, like underneath Setcon, because like it's still really good and it still can high roll people, but like I think to play Melga, you just have to be really lucky. I've played almost every Melga list under the sun getting ready for set 11 regionals, and I don't think this deck's real. Like, I mean, like, it doesn't work for me ever, but I've seen people go crazy with it. Red Vaccine. This deck's not real anymore, guys. I'm sorry to tell you. If you want to play Raid, just play Gallantmon, or even better, War Greymon. Unfortunately, until we get new Phoenixmon support, like, Marsmon falls off hard. And the new Phoenixmon, like, Phoenixmon just isn't good enough right now to compete. Actually, it's probably like tier 3, because, like, this is a fun deck for locals. And these decks just aren't real. Okay. I know I said my hot take was Bloomlord. But I actually have a second hot take, and I don't know, like, how So sort of the goo I've been talking to people about, and I don't really want to, like, put out there just yet, and I don't know. It's definitely a deck you guys should keep on your radar. A lot of the people I'm talking about, this is the anomaly factor. So if you guys played in set 9, you know Melga was a deck that nobody was talking about. In early set 9, pre-set 9, like basically what we're doing now is set 12, but with set 9, before the set releases and we're talking about it, Melga was a deck no one was considering. We're like tier 2. Like, it's a tier 2 deck at best. Like, it's cute, it has a blocker, whatever. And then that ended up being probably the best deck. No, Alphamon was better, but like, it was right there with it. They're about the same. But nobody expected Melga to be that strong. I think that's going to be Red Hybrid. I think Red Hybrid is a tier 1 deck. I think this deck is so strong. Red Hybrid's always had this really strong OTK potential with Ancient Greymon, but now with Emperor Greymon, we sort of have this Ancient Greymon factor, but we also have Ancient Greymon that blows stuff up too. Like, it is very strong, and it's very, very fast. So my sort of surprise factor tier 1 deck for this list, I know some people are predicting Bloomlord to be really good because of Quartzmon, so I don't feel like that's as hot a take as this one, but I definitely think Emperor Greymon is going to go the distance, guys. Shine Greymon, we're not quite to set 13 yet. Set 13, best deck in format, like, by far. I do think this deck's actually a relatively strong tier 1.5 deck. Like, it could be tier 2. This one's probably the most iffy I am on the list, because in testing, sometimes it feels really good, and then sometimes it doesn't feel good at all. But I do think it's, like, pretty decent. I'm probably gonna put it like right here, because, like, it has a decent matchup into evade stuff. And it can lower DP, so, like, it's pretty useful. Marcus is also, like, kind of strong. So I'm gonna put it in 1.5. I think it's actually quite good. Ulforce X. Ulforce X, guys, this is wild. So Ulforce right now, I think, is already a strong deck. Evade is a very good mechanic, because all these decks up here have no way of outing Evade outside of like, even in 1.5, the only deck that can really out Evade is Shine Greymon, because you're just going to DP reduce them, and they can't. I mean, they can evade, but they'll still die. So nothing here really beats Evade. And all Ulforce really needed was consistency and a way to interrupt your opponent on their turn. And Ulforce Digimon X gives that. You can all turns bottom deck things now. Or return things, excuse me. And it's very good. It still has the consistency issues that Ulforce previously had. So I like... And now you have, like, an extra card you have to put in. So I don't really want to put it up here. But again, with mulligans, like, it becomes quite strong. So I am going to put it, like, up here. Probably right here. I think this deck has a lot of potential and is very, very strong if played properly. War Greymon X. This was the best deck, or this and Beelzemon were the best decks in Japan. Japan had Greymon X antibody at 4 and no mulligans. Now you would think, well, mulligans would only make it better because you can get your one Greymon X easier. Right, but mulligans also make these decks all significantly better. If you look at these lists, like these decks on this 1.5 and up, mulligans is a big factor in making these decks stronger. I would argue a lot of these decks would be tier 2 without mulligans. War Greymon X is, I mean, not War Greymon X, excuse me, War Greymon is still really good. It's very much like Black War Greymon, but I would argue it's a little bit worse than Black War Greymon. Like, the raid is very strong, but it just has, because it loses the Greymon X and the turbo ability to wipe board and kill really quickly, because that's what it did. It wiped board and OTK'd. With Greymon X being at 1 now, you're not going to be able to keep turn as often, which is going to make it really rough to play this deck properly. So that being said, I still think it's very strong, and it's 1.5. Shoutmon. aka Crossheart. Right now in BT11, post mulligans, post banless, Crossheart is the best deck by far. We've been seeing in the regionals having about 50% tops. It's very good. And X7 is superior mode, just adds to that. It is so strong. It is ridiculous. This card also makes Blue Flare like pretty good. I'm actually gonna move Blue Flare down here. I don't know, it shouldn't be that high, but it 1.5 still. But Xmon X7 superior. Again, it has a very good matchup into all of these decks down here, and it has a decent matchup into tier 1. I don't want to organize tier 1 too much because I do feel like it's relatively self-explanatory. The decks that are in tier 1, they're there for a reason. And I don't really want to organize too much because I don't want to predict too much. 1.5 is pretty much the order I would put it in. And then like everything below it is just like whatever. But tier 1 I don't want to organize too much because I think all these decks are like pretty even, except for Beelzemon. I think Beelzemon is definitely the front runner, but I think these other three are definitely in contention of their own. Thank you guys so much for watching my video. I hope you liked. As always, please don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the links in the description down below. We record almost all of our videos live over on twitch.tv/TruePainGaming, so go drop a follow over there as well, and I will see you all next time. Bye.